Being that we use food treats in training so often, we'd like to tell you a little bit about the treats that we do use. First of all, don't use big treats that are going to take too long for the dog to chew, and don't use dry treats like dry, hard cookies. You want your treats to be approximately pea-sized or a little bit bigger, and you want them to be nice and chewy.
Another thing to take into consideration is that you can use your dog's kibble. There's nothing wrong with working your dog for his food and making him think that he's working for treats, because that way you're upping the value of his daily meal.
Right, and one way you can do that is to actually break your dog's meal into 8 or 10 separate little meals that you give him throughout the day for training, rather than keeping it at 1 or 2 meals the way you do now.
And that makes training more important because he knows that he's working for his meal and not for a treat that he may or may not want, because, let's see, you know what, I really don't feel like coming to you right now, plus I know that you're going to feed me in 20 minutes anyway, so it's really not worth it.
And that's also a good solution for dogs who are overweight and you don't want to give them a lot of extra treats.
Right.
Now, some of our favorite treats for training, there are a lot of different food rolls that look like a sausage when they start out. You slice them and then you dice them up as big or small as you'd like, and they come out looking like this. If you're good at it, they come out in perfect little cubes. Actually, the type of stuff that comes in a food roll is also great for stuffing things like Kong toys. What you do is you slice it, and when you have it in a slice, but before you dice it up, you squeeze the top hole of the Kong, the big hole, so that it elongates. You put one of the slices in, release it, and your dog can't get the treat out very easily. So that keeps them working for a
You're
while.
gonna drive him nuts that way. Make sure also that any treats you use in training, that, well, if you use a lot of them, that you kind of subtract that amount of kibble from their diet, because again, we don't want the dog getting overweight from training. So let's say if I work my dog for 20 minutes today and he ate, 3/4 of a cup of these,
Right.
then I'm going to subtract from his food about a 1/2 cup to 3/4 of a cup of kibble.
Right, because you don't want your dog getting overweight from food training. Also, it's important to note that you should vary the treats that you use when you're training.
Absolutely.
You can use sort of low-value treats when you're in the house and there's no distractions. Dried Cheerios would be an example of a low-value treat. But when you're outside doing loose-leash walking and you've got distractions, other dogs in the environment and so forth, you might want to have something else. Some examples of high-value treats might be a hot dog that you slice up, and you can even put them in the microwave for about 30 seconds so they're not quite so greasy, or string cheese, or any other type of cheese that your dog likes that you cut up into little penny-sized slices.
And that's a really good point, because if you're in the house and you're using what we would consider to be the prime rib of treats, then when you go outside, you have no place to go.
Another reason you want to vary your dog's food treats for training is, think about this. If you got the same present for Christmas every year, how excited would you be when you opened your Christmas present? Not very. If you call your dog to come to you and your dog knows, hey, I'm getting a cube of that food stuff, and he likes it well enough, but hey, he's rolling in something really great out in the yard, he's going to think, food treat, rolling in good stuff in the yard. I think I'll stay here. If, however, he doesn't know what it is you're going to give him, you're keeping him guessing, and he's more likely to come to you.
If you want to increase the value of your presence and of your petting your dog, then you just pair it with food. You just pet your dog and give him a cookie, and pet your dog and give him a cookie. Straight classical conditioning. It's going to work.
Right, because eventually he'll come to associate the petting with the food, and when you fade the food out of the equation, the petting will have taken on more value. Be kind to your dog, be patient, be consistent, and do pay him for a job well done. After all, you don't want to go to work and not get paid.